Okay, I'm back. So, I was undecided between Olive Dream from Peachy Olive and Linder from Peachy Olive. But I think I like this lighter green better, the Olive Dream. So I'm going to use the Olive Dream. And I have this acrylic paint from Arteza. It's called Light Sap Green, and I'm going to paint the bottom of the gnome with that. After I got off last time, I remembered I wanted to put my flower on here while this epoxy sculpt was still moldable. So I came back and put my flower on here. These are just a pack that I found on Amazon, and it had all kinds of different stuff in it. I'll try to find that link and link it in the description box below. So I'm going to paint the bottom, and then I will glitter that. I usually like to have a angle brush. I don't have one. I don't know where my angle brush is. It'll take more than one coat, so you want to be careful around the edges of your Gnome. I mean, you can touch it up if you have to because you haven't epoxied it yet. But the less problem you create, the less you have to deal with. You don't have to use these colors I use. You just want to use a color that is close to the glitter you're going to use so that you can get better coverage. I just kind of go up against it with the brushes like that, so I'm not, so I don't risk making a mess that I have to clean up. And you want the paint to be smooth because you don't want to see those in your glitter, streaks in your glitter. I just bring any extra that I have to another place I need paint, so that way I don't build up streaks. I am not a painter. See, I just pushed the bristles in there along the edge so I don't create a mess. Like I said, if you hit something, you can touch it up. If I have a hard time touching up my pigments, I will take an acrylic marker and just dot on the area that I'm trying to fix with an acrylic color that's close to the pigment that I used. Sometimes I get in a hurry and I make boo-boos. Make sure you get the bottom. And then let that dry. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll do a second coat and let that dry. And then I'll be ready to glitter. And I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I put 2 coats of paint on there. And now I'm fixing to take some Mod Podge. No, I already got a cup. Put some Mod Podge in a cup, because I don't like to dip in that. And then I'm going to mix some of my paint with the Mod Podge. You don't have to. I just like to do that and keep it about the same color. You could just use the acrylic paint to apply the glitter, but I just like to use some Mod Podge with it. Same thing, just kind of go up against it with the bristles so you don't create a mess. If you don't get good coverage with the first coat, you can always go back and add another coat and glitter it again. But if you use acrylic paint similar to the glitter that you're going to use, you should get pretty good coverage the first time. And I do this in sections because this Mod Podge dries really fast. I want to get my glitter on there before the space that I have applied it to dries. Make sure you don't have the thing in there when you go to dump the glitter. Sorry about that. And any that you get anywhere after this dries, you can brush off with a chip brush. Try to keep your strokes smooth. Isn't that pretty? So very pretty. You cannot go wrong with glitter. Any glitter, especially glitter from Peachy Olive. I don't like to use Mod Podge for everything, but there are some things it just works for, like this. take your chip brush and just brush any glitter off that you got anywhere you didn't want it. I usually like to wait until that's dry because I do have a tendency to hit it with the bristles. So that's it glittered. So what I'll do is let that dry, and then I'll touch up any places that I need to touch up, and then I will take the chip brush and clean off any glitter that I need to. Once that's all dried and cleaned up, I'll take it outside and seal it 3 times with clear coat. And that's that. And then it will be ready for epoxy. And I'll be back to show you that part. Okay, I'm back. So I decided to paint my flower. Remember I put the flower on there? I decided I didn't like the color of it, so I used acrylic paint to paint it. And I've sealed it 3 times with clear coat. And I've already mixed my epoxy and let it sit. This is Mr. Nola's glass coat with Snow Day Junior in it because I love Snow Day Junior on everything. And now what I'm going to do is, even though I've clear coated it, I still want to be careful not to disturb this glitter too much because I don't want it to travel into the rest of my gnome. So I just take my time to apply it. I have 20 milliliters here. I don't want to glob on too much because it can pull like around the nose and stuff like that, and you don't want it to pull around those areas. So I don't use a lot of epoxy on this at a time, because you can put more layers on, but you can't take them off if you get it pulled in areas. So I just want to take my time so I don't disturb that glitter and get it into every other place, every other part of the gnome on here. You do want to pay attention to your crevices, like up here around the hat. Make sure you get those. And of course, on this places that I created all that dimension, like the beard and the end of the hat here, had to make sure you get those good. Of course, this will take a few coats. I don't know how many. Mr. Noah's glass coat, it's kind of a thick epoxy, so you just want to take your time and work it in there. Every nook and cranny. You could probably use a throwaway paintbrush if you wanted to. Like on this beard and stuff. But I'm not worried about it because whatever I don't get the first time, I can get the second time. You almost want to take it and just dump it on there, but you can't. And when I come back with my next coat, I may use a paintbrush if I feel the need to, a disposable one, so I can get in this beard and all. But I don't like to do too heavy of a coat because I don't want it to pull up in areas, because then that doesn't look good, and then you have to sand it, and then you have to worry about messing it up because you're sanding it. Okay, so I'll let this turn a few hours, and then I'll go back in with my second coat with a paintbrush if I decide to around these areas, and just do as many coats as I think I need until I have it smooth. You don't want to put so thick of a coat that you lose your 3D effect. So you have to be careful with that. But anyway, so that's how I make my Gnome. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm no expert, but if there's anything that I can help with, I'll be glad to help. Leave questions in the comments below, and I will answer them for you. And thank you for watching. Until next time.